Welcome to number 23, Getting Started This Autumn, looking a little bit beyond education and thinking about accreditation in the wider world. And I guess I observed this question because I wrote to the BCS, which I'm a fellow of, and I noted that they were looking at the whole accreditation system, and I offered to help. And I ended up chatting to Alistair, and he has put a question forward, which is quite a difficult question to answer, and I suppose I deserve the question. So let's let him speak for himself.
Hello, my name is Alistair Irons. I'm a Professor in Computer Science at the University of Sunderland. One of the challenges facing computer science, and indeed all disciplines that are accredited by professional bodies, is how we ensure that accreditation is valued by students, by HEIs, and by employers.
The challenge with this particular problem is that it's a three-way balance. You're trying to keep three different people or groups of people satisfied, and at the heart of it is something which is primarily about education. It's got to do with assessing how much of a subject should be taught, the way in which it should be taught, and the way in which you ensure that people are competent in the skills afterwards all the way through their lives. So that is definitely academic territory. Employers is probably one group who will benefit, the individuals will benefit, and somehow we have to try and work out, well, what is the overall package that gives everybody the right amount of benefit? So somehow we want employers to find it easy to work with universities that are providing students that are ready for accreditation and continue in a series of lifelong learning stages to remain accredited and to improve their accreditation status. We want a world where students want accreditation because it opens the way to better jobs, and where they want to go to universities where the degrees have been accredited in ways that mean that they're aligned with the best that's going on in the employment world. And the HEIs are stuck in the middle of that, and the HEIs are seeking to use accreditation both to improve the quality of what they're offering as a degree to employers and to students. And that's a really, really, really difficult three-way sale. Around all this, particularly in the UK, where engineering and computer science are not particularly valued in the boardroom, we have had a number of examples that have to do with computing, with IT, and with data loss, very high-profile ones in the last few years. And when you look at the boards of those companies, you realize that there are not the accredited people at the very top of those industries. And so society as a whole would have benefited had we had more access to well-accredited people who are going to go all the way to the very top of their organizations. So what's the opportunity if we get this right? If we can try and align all three of these interests, we have the prospect of having workplace practice that is better aligned to academic practice and the accreditation process. That's easy to say, it's really very hard to do. But in principle, and particularly as universities move more towards digital education, it should be easier to continue to pick up digital education as you go through life. As the workplace has become more digitized and as universities are becoming more digitized, it should become possible to also find ways in which the whole accreditation process, the way in which it's taught, and the way in which it's assessed is for skills that are related to the digital workplace. Second opportunity is to better integrate the teaching and the learning with the professional development. Again, this spins out of the first point that I made, but basically as teaching and learning processes move to a more digital platform at university level, it ought to be possible to reach out and to stretch that forward into the professional world, the world of work, and to try and make sure that the way in which people start learning and are assessed is the way in which they continue to learn and are assessed. And of course, that opens up the prospect, ultimately, of lifelong learning. And that is the big benefit for the individual, for the HEI, for the employer, and for society at large. So I'm available. Here are my coordinates. Love to hear from you.